This is now one of my favorite YA series. This is like one of the cutest and one of the most wholesome. I know people don't cry during this, but I did. One of my most disappointed reads of 2021. I'm sorry. I hate myself for just knowing him just this year. I am sad to say that I do not remember anything that happened in this book. The whole 2021 reading for me is so good. Wonderful people, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing amazing. I'm B and welcome back to my channel, Books with B. So today, I want to talk about all of the books that I read during 2021, just because I kind of want to see if I can review all of them. I'm 100% sure I have already forgotten the plot of half of them. That's on me. So this year, I have finished 101 books. I'm so happy that I did. I never thought I would ever finish 100 in a month. Actually don't know why I want to do this. I just want to see if I do remember the plots, and I just want to see how fast I can do a review. So most of these I will talk about them in 3 sentences or less. I kind of want it to be like sort of a speed round kind of thing. So enough blabber, let's get into it. So I do have my Goodreads right here. Here we go. 101 books for 2021. Let's get started. Also, I just want to say that most of these books are popular books because I did have a hiatus in reading, and I just go to the popular books so that I know they'll be good. So, yeah. Alright. The Invisible Life of Ada LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Very, 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 very overhyped, but still very, very good. So, not mad about that. It's just I wasn't getting the impact that I expected, but still a good book. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. It was a good first book of a series. I love tournament arcs, so therefore I will like this book. The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I have no idea why, but I cried during this. I know people don't cry during this, but I did. Weird, but I loved it, obviously. The Infinite Noise by Lauren Shippen. I listened to the audiobook of this one, and it's so good. I felt like they were my friend. They have a great discussion on mental health, and I just loved it. Six of Crows. I don't have to tell you how great it is. It's really great. I just wanted to read it for the Shadow and Bone TV adaptation. I did not expect for it to give me this much impact because all of the characters are now my comfort characters. I love them so freaking much. I love Six of Crows. Crooked Kingdom. I didn't cry. Even though a lot of people cried, I didn't cry. Maybe I will cry the second time I read it, but I didn't cry. But it's still a good book. Really great. The Humans by Matt Haig. Very funny. Very fun to read. And it's one of those books that make you appreciate that you're human. Cinderella's Dead by Kaylin Barron. A cute sapphic romance, but I expected too much because I've been seeing it a lot, but I still really enjoyed it. It's a Cinderella retelling, obviously, and I liked it. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. A classic. I don't have to tell you that it's great because it really is. It's a reread. I read this when I was a kid. I didn't understand it, and now that I'm an adult, it's such a great book. The impact it gives, and the adaptation, so good. Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. I actually like this more than the first book, which is weird because it's the last book that I've read from the Throne of Glass series. I don't know why. I can't seem to move on. Okay, I am halfway of Heir of Fire, and I haven't moved with the Throne of Glass series. I'm sorry, but I did really like this book. Maybe the third book just wasn't for me. Shadow and Bone. Again, just read it because of the Netflix adaptation. What can I say about it? Nothing. The adaptation was so much better than the book, which is very rare. Overall, I still enjoyed it. I mean, it's a YA fantasy. It has its tropes, but I liked it. I just wish it was multiple POV, because Alina can be a little boring sometimes. The next one is one of the books that we don't talk about anymore, so not gonna talk about that. And Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. Classic Alice in Wonderland. Loved it. Whimsical. Everything. What else can I say? Forgotten Scars by Natalie J. Reddy. I love her. She's an indie author. Please check her out. Oh my god, I love this book. Oh my god, now I forgot. Like, it's a gushing good. It's a new adult urban fantasy. It's so good, you guys. It's like X-Men meets Twilight, as far as I can remember. The Wrath and the Dolly by Renee Ahdieh. So good. It's a, what retelling? See, I can't even remember anymore, but I remember liking it. I read the webtoon of this as well, and it's so freaking cute. I loved it. It was so good, but I can't remember much. So the second book of it, The Rose and the Dagger, again, I'm sorry, I can't remember. But I remember enjoying it 100%, but I think I enjoyed the first book better. Next, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Again, a classic. I don't have to tell you how good it is. The Pevensey siblings. I love them. The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I have been seeing this a lot, so I got it. Very overhyped. Again, did not give me the impact that I wanted. I thought my life would change when I read this. It didn't. It's just about choices and regret that each choice obviously can lead to a different path. And you'll see if the path you chose was correct. Sage and Storm by Lee Bardugo. Was it the second book? I don't even remember. All I can say is Nikolai carried the whole trilogy. Nikolai's amazing. The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. My favorite book of 2021. It's a warm hug in book form. That's just it. It's an adult fantasy that makes you love who you are. An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. This is my first Fae book, and I was so confused most of the time. I think I just don't know Fae that well to appreciate this book. I still enjoyed it 100%. It's just not the book for me. Another one that we don't talk about, so I'm gonna skip that. The Song of Achilles. It's a reread. Loved it the second time around. It's really one of my favorite books. If you haven't read Song of Achilles, I mean, it's everywhere. Please, please, please read it. Great retelling of Achilles and Patroclus. Hidden Scars by Natalie J. Reddy. It's the second book of Forgotten Scars. Again, I loved it so much. I swear, Natalie J. Reddy, when she asked me to review her book, I didn't expect much, but it's so good. Please check out her book. Her books are on Amazon. She also has audiobooks with it, so good. If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I loved it so much, but I love the dark academia aspect of it. I love the murder mystery and the dual timelines. It's so good. I loved it. The Extraordinaries by T.J. Klune. Gay superheroes. What else can I say? It's so cute. I love this so freaking much. Daybreak by A.J. Navab. The only thing that I love about this was it's set in Japan, and that's all I can remember too. So I don't remember anything. I'm sorry. Ruin and Rising by Lee Bardugo. Again, Nikolai carried the whole trilogy, even though he wasn't even in the first book. But I'm just excited for the other seasons of the Netflix adaptation. Six of Crows is a superior series of the Grishaverse. So, Furthermore by Tahari Mafi. Cute, whimsical. It reminds me a lot of Alice in Wonderland. It's middle grade and very colorful. Like, you can see the colors in the freaking world. It's amazing. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. Honestly, one of my favorite books I've read this year. It's a children's book, but it's a self-help book disguised as a children's book. It's really great. If you feel down, please do read this. Honestly, it will just take you 5 minutes. I love this book so much, and it's just amazing. Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. What can I say about this? This is now one of my favorite YA series. Skyward is so good. I cried reading this. And there's nothing to cry about. I just cried because the writing was so good. Everything was so good. It will take me forever if I keep on gushing about this. But yeah, Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. So good. Sci-fi. So good. I'm not even a sci-fi person. And I love it. King of Scars by Lee Bardugo. I cried in this one. Let me tell you, the first 100 pages will kill you. Oh my god, I have been like crying. So this is the third series of the Grishaverse. Obviously, you need to read Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows to read King of Scars. So it's basically the story of Nikolai. But I felt like a little after that 100 pages of crying. I felt like it's a fan service series. I don't want to say that I did still enjoy it, but I feel like Lee Bardugo just wrote it for the fans, and it felt ingenuine. I mean, I still love the series 100%. It's just I felt like Lee. It's a money grab series, I feel like, but it's fine because we love Nikolai anyway, and I still gave it 4 out of 5, so who cares? Rule of Wolves, second book of King of Scars. I'm not even sure if I liked the first book or the second book of this. I just felt like it's just one, you know? I don't know what else to say. I just love the Grishaverse as a whole. So in summary, I love this. Heartstopper Volume 1 and Volume 2. I love this so much. It's a graphic novel about two gay teenagers just coming of age, and it's just very adorable, and I loved it so much. That's all I can say. I know you know how good this is because everyone's talking about it, so, so good. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is my first Taylor Jenkins Reid book, and oh my god, I loved it so much. It's just a story about a band within this universe, and it's written in interview form. It's very unique, very great. Talks about a lot of things that we don't see in a band, so I loved it. I love like band scenes. So Heartstopper Volume 3, still same as Heartstopper 1 and 2. Loved it 100%. One of my favorite graphic novels of all time. Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Sorry. So good. Time traveling in a tea shop. What else can I say? Very impactful. I did not cry as much as other people did, but I still loved it. Wolf Song by TJ Klune. Gay werewolves in love. It's so cute! I love this book so much. I cannot believe I haven't read the other books in this series. I will 100%. This is like one of the cutest and one of the most wholesome relationships I have ever read. I mean, except for the end because they grow older, but still, it's so freaking cute and it's so just read it. Gay werewolves. Read it. It's so nice. The Five People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. I read it because I remember reading it when I was a kid, but I can't remember what was the premise of it. And now I remember, and it was okay. I liked it. It didn't give me an impact that I wanted, but I still liked it. Very interesting. It's, you know, as the title says, The Five People You Meet in Heaven. Bunny by Mona Awad. If you want a fever dream in a book, this is your book. As I swear to God, I feel like for the whole book, I have been hallucinating. It's a trip. It's a real trip, this book. I enjoyed it. Very unique, but I don't think I'll reread it anytime soon because it gave me a headache. You Know Me Well by Nina LaCour and David Leviathan. I honestly don't remember this book. All I know about it is love stories getting intertwined, and that's about it, I think. Can't remember. I'm sorry. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. One of my favorite books of this year. I don't think I need to tell you how great it is because, again, I see it everywhere. We all see it everywhere. We know how great it is. If you love your Hollywood drama, read this because I swear to God, Taylor Jenkins Reid, when she creates a character, I feel like they're real people. Where's Ant-Man? Ant-Man fell. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I wanted Ant-Man to be in frame. So yeah. Taylor Jenkins Reid's characters, they seem so freaking real to me. I almost searched for Evelyn Hugo because she seems like such a real person. So yeah, if you love your Hollywood drama, read this. Language of Thorns by Lee Bardugo. It's short stories within the Grishaverse. It was cute. It was fine. I love the illustrations. That's it. Girls of Paper and Fire. One of my most disappointed reads of 2021. I'm sorry. I think I expected too much with this book and it led me to me not liking it. So it's my bad. It's my fault. It's supposed to be a sapphic fantasy, but I didn't even feel it. Is it so bad that I didn't feel? I don't know, whatever. Anyway, Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, second book of the Skyward series. I liked Skyward so much better than Starsight, but I still enjoyed Starsight so much. Teen Titans Beast Boy by Cami Garcia, illustrated by Gabrielle Piccolo. This is one of my anticipated reads of 2021 because finally it was sold in our bookshop and I got it. It's always sold out, so when it was there, I immediately got it. I loved it so much. Teen Titans is one of my favorites when I was a kid, and reading with the illustration of Gabrielle Piccolo, oh, so good. Just, it's so good. If you're a fan of DC, if you're a fan of Teen Titans when you were a kid, please pick this up. I'm 100% sure you would know Gabrielle Piccolo because he is, amazing. Kick-Ass by Mark Miller and John Romita Jr. I just wanted to reread this because I was in a comic book kind of mood. So, Kick-Ass, very classic. It's about real people trying to be superheroes and they don't have superpowers, so it doesn't end well. Kick-Ass 2, same sentiments, loved it. Not the best, but I still really loved it. It's more of a nostalgic factor, that's why I reread him. So good. Legendborn by Tracy Dion. Again, so freaking good. The dark academia aspect of this, I even felt like it wasn't even that YA because it's set in a uni, but the main girl, she's still in high school, I think. I can't remember. It's based on Arthurian legend, so that's unique already as itself. And yeah, what else can I say? I know you know that this is good because I've seen it everywhere too. So, Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I don't want to talk about this. Ugh. I know a lot of people love this, but I don't. So, I just didn't. How can I say this? I did not enjoy it. I expected way too much out of it. And yeah. I did not like Scarlett's POV. She's such an annoying character. She's not even likable. Even like... okay, just gonna calm down. Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. I loved it. This is a great introduction if you really want to get into Norse mythology because Neil Gaiman just simplifies Norse legends. House and Salt and Sorrows by Aaron A. Craig. One of my favorite books, again, of this year. Very creepy, very atmospheric. I know not a lot of people love this because of the twist in the end, but I don't care. You won't see it coming. I doubt that you will see it coming. If you said that you saw it coming, you're lying. I love this book. I don't care what other people say about this, but I love this book. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Sapphic time travel romance. So good. I loved it so much. I'm not a big romance reader at the time, so I wasn't feeling it, but I feel like if I reread it now, I would love it more. Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Very atmospheric. Like, very atmospheric. Obviously, it's in the title. The setting is very gothic. It's about a main character staying at a home with her cousin's new family because she is very protective of her cousin. She thinks there's something wrong, so she inspects. And the house is... it's very atmospheric to the point that I want to puke. Because sometimes there are scenes that are disgusting and I just can't take it. It's just, okay, no. I loved how atmospheric it is, but not the book for me. But great writing. So great writing. The Book Thief by Marcus Cusack. One of my favorite reads of 2021. This is one of the books where you just look at the ceiling for like 10 minutes after reading, and then you still think about it for a week or two. I'm 100% sure it's gonna be like sort of like a modern classic World War II retelling about the times where they were burning books. So good. It's set in Nazi Germany. So high stakes. Very high stakes. Legendary by Stephanie Garber. I don't want to talk about it. I will talk more about it when we get to the third book because, Loki, Where Mischief Lies by Mackenzie Lee. Obviously, I just read this because it's Loki, but I have to take note all the time that if it's a different source of media, it's a different Loki. But I still love the book itself. It's great. Written in the Stars by Alexandria Bellefleur. I thought I was gonna love this. It was one of my most anticipated reads, but I end up not liking it. It's one of those romance books where they just don't have great conversation. That's why you have the conflict, and I feel like that's such... I didn't like it. Ninth House by Lee Verdugo. I love this so much. If you can tell, I love dark academia. And this, Dark Academia plus Supernatural, so good. Can you please read it if you haven't? Once Upon a Sunset by Tiff Marcello, World War II retelling, Filipino World War II retelling. I loved it so much. It's so cute. It has romance in it, and I loved it. The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. A lot of people loved it. I'm just not one of them. It's dark academia, sort of, but it's just very confusing. I feel like I was so stupid while reading this. Was I the only one? Please tell me I'm not the only one, because oh my god, I felt so dumb. Like, the plot's all over the place. I don't know which, and they have so much discoveries that they don't talk about. I want them to talk about it. Lovely War by Julie Berry, one of my favorite reads of 2021, because it's so freaking good. World War I retelling, where Greek gods and goddesses are the one narrating. I saw how hard it was at the time. It made me kind of sad. It is a very dark book since it is World War I. It also has great black representation, and you see how their lives are when even their own countrymen don't give them the time of day. I'm gonna talk about this more in a different video. I just loved it. So good. The next one is another one of those books that we don't talk about. Skip that. The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. I listened to this by audiobook. It was okay, but not that memorable to me. It was a cute, spooky read. I think it's YA. It's a cute YA spooky read. Vicious by V. Schwab, one of my favorites. I swear to God, if I say one of my favorites, the whole 2021 reading for me is so good. It's another superhero book, so surprise, surprise that I liked it. Superhero Class Dark Academia, my favorite book. Vicious by V. Schwab. Small Favors by Aaron A. Craig. I will always love anything that Aaron A. Craig puts out. This is so great. It's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, very creepy, very atmospheric, a really great read for the spooky season. And I think that's why I think we're in the October now. And so my camera just died. I don't know, where did I stop? Okay, I talked about Small Favors by Aaron A. Craig. I think I was done with that one. Next one is Finale by Stephanie Garber. Okay, so here we go, the Caraval series. Okay, I like the second book more than the first book. I like the second book more than the third book, but in a whole trilogy, I didn't like it. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth me being so frustrated with the characters. I don't want to gush. I don't want to hate on it too much because yes, it's still a cute YA fantasy. It's still very imaginative, but I don't know. I guess it's one of those books that I expected too much. Again, probably my fault, But I know it wasn't just me because I talked to my friend about this and she didn't like it either. Annoying characters. Very predictable who Legend was. The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. I love this. One of my favorite graphic novels. It is so good. So adorable. So cute. So it's about a prince that loves cross-dressing, and there's this dressmaker that he hires to make him dresses, obviously in secret because his whole kingdom doesn't know that he loves cross-dressing. And it's just so cute, so innocent, so wholesome. I freaking love graphic novels. This is the best one. Cirque the Freak by Darren Shan, the first one. A Living Nightmare. I read this because it was spooky season, and I remember when I was a kid, I love this whole series. I actually have all of Darren Shan's Cirque the Freak books. There's 12 books. I still loved it. I loved it so much. I don't know if I love it because it's good or because it's nostalgic, but anything that has to do with circuses, I will definitely love. The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichet. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but this is so good. This is a Norse mythology retelling of Andromeda, Loki's lover, not the Asgardian lover that he has, but the giantess lover that he had. And the author just made Norse mythology so compelling. With Norse mythology legends, all I think about is they're a little bit silly, they're a little bit childish. But with this retelling, it made me so invested in Andromeda, and it made me hate Loki. Where's Ant-Man? Ant-Man is a priority in the frame. There we go. Here we go. But yeah, this book made me hate Loki, and I never thought I would hate any variant of Loki. He's not a villain. He's just a real stupid guy. And the ending! I did not expect the ending! It's just so good. Bone by Jeff Smith. Out from Boneville. I just read this because I know this book has been on my shelves for so long. It's not my type of graphic novel. I love the illustrations and everything, but the story, The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This one's such a great book too. Again, it's in the spooky season. It was such a great spooky read. So perfect for the timing. I honestly don't know what the plot is about, but all I remember is I really enjoyed reading this book. What is it about? The Yellow Paper by Charlotte Perkins Stayson. This is actually a short story about a girl. I think I'm gonna butcher this, but it deals with mental health and how before, when someone has mental health issues, especially women, they just shove them in a room and say that it'll be gone. So this short story is about a girl that she gets shoved in a room and all she sees is yellow wallpaper. And this did not disappoint. It's very creepy because obviously when you just stare at one thing, things move. And yeah, I really did like it. The Whisper Man by Alex North. I listened to the audiobook of this one, and let me tell you how spooky that was. Little kids hearing voices. I can't. It's such a good read. Perfect if you want to be scared. And Ember the Ashes by Sabbath here. One of my favorite books. let me just tell you, I see this everywhere. I don't have to tell you how good it is, but oh my god, I did not expect that I would love this book so freaking much. I still haven't finished the series. I will soon, but it's so good. I did not expect to love it, only because I thought I would not get it, because I know there's gonna be a lot of political intrigue, but it's so good. So it's a YA high fantasy, but it doesn't even seem YA to me, because the problems in their world is so big and their political intrigue is just so expansive. So it's just, yeah. Coraline by Neil Gaiman, a staple. You need to read during the the October season and everything. So good. I will always love Coraline. The OK Witch by Emma Steinkellner. Anyway, I wanted a spooky graphic novel for the month of October, and I picked that. And it was cute. It was great. Very wholesome. It's a witchy read. I loved it. Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. This is the other adult fantasy book by T.J. Klune, and I don't love it as much as House in the Cerulean Sea. It did give me more feelings than I had comparing to House in the Cerulean Sea, because this gets dark real quick. Even TJ Klune has like a trigger warning in front because it does talk about death. So basically, we follow this person who just died and see what happens after a person dies. So it's a great read. I wouldn't say it's a spooky read. I thought it would be, since we're gonna be talking about death, but it's actually deeper than that. So I really loved it. The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux, a classic that I wanted to read. Just because I really want to be a classic reader. I still hate Christine. Okay, so the Broadway was great, but I hate Christine as a character because I just think she just uses people. But in the book, I really saw how scary the Phantom was, because it wasn't just a scary face, you know. They talked about his mental illness and how he became that way. Unlike in the Broadway, I love the Broadway. The music is amazing. It's just, it doesn't really explain why Phantom was like that. And in the book, when you read it, it's like, oh my god, this is scary. So I really liked it. The Lost in the Neverwoods by Aidan Thomas. I love this book. She's the author of Cemetery Boys. I haven't read Cemetery Boys, which is a crime, but I love this one. It's a Peter Pan retelling. The twist at the end, I got so surprised at the end. I did not expect that. Now I remember it, and it's just so good. The Curious Incident of the Dog at the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Amazing read. You should read this. So we follow a child that has autism, and he wants to investigate what happened to his neighbor's dog that died. And we just follow his life, and we follow his mind as well, on how his mind works. It's just so interesting to see that. It's amazing. Please read it. It's really short too. So, My Best Friend's Exorcism. Oh my god, by Grady Hendrix. So I just discovered Grady Hendrix this year, and I hate myself for just knowing him just this year. So obviously, in the month of October, I love being very spooky. And his books are legitimately slasher films in book form. Like, they have the same vibe. So The Best Friend's Exorcism is what it is. It's just an exorcism for best friends. It's set in the 80s, and I love 80s references, everything. I love their friendship, that until the end they're still like best friends, even though this girl got possessed and she wasn't herself, you know? It's just, it's so good. If you are a spooky person, if you love spooky things and you haven't discovered Grady Hendrix yet, please read his books. I've only read 2, and I love them both. It's so good. Okay. The Girl from the Well by Rin Chupeco. I am sad to say that I do not remember anything that happened in this book. All I know, it was an exorcism. It was set in Japan, and I love how fascinating it was that there are other forms of exorcism, because obviously we only see the one in the movie, right? The Exorcist, the Catholic way or the Christian way. But this one is the Japanese way, where they put spirits in dolls, in like those Japanese dolls, and that fascinated me so much. But that's all I remember. But yeah, that's it. Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. This is his IKEA book. So if you buy it physically, it looks like an IKEA catalog. I only listened to it with an audiobook, but I plan on buying the physical copy because it's so great. So basically, it's a horror story inside an IKEA-ish place. So we follow their employees in night shift and see what's happening. And it's so good. I didn't like it as much as My Best Friend's Exorcism, but I still loved it. It still had the vibes of just being that funny and spooky read. The Martian by Andy Weir. This made me feel like I'm so dumb, but I need to commend Andy Weir on their research for this book. Oh my god. Besides me feeling dumb, I really enjoyed this book because the main character was very funny, very witty, and very smart. So it's basically this guy, this astronaut is trapped in Mars, and his flight went without him because they thought he was dead. And it's so good. It's really good. It's a little hard to get through just because all of the scientific stuff. But I know Andy Weir dumbs it down for us. It's just I feel like I'm just really dumb. Yeah, okay. A Torch Against the Night by Sabbath here. It is my favorite An Ember in the Ashes book. I love this book so much. So much happens in this book. Like, we can see, so much happens in this book compared to the first one. And the third one, this is my favorite An Ember in the Ashes book. So, The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. Okay, let me tell you, I'm not a romance reader, but I wanted to try romance around this time. And I started with the bar. I set the bar so high because The Spanish Love Deception is superior. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe this is a debut novel. Elena Armas, you're superior. You're freaking superior. I cannot. Fake Dating, Enemies to Lovers, Aaron Blackford. That's all I can say. Aaron Blackford, he is what all male love interest wants to be. It's just, please do yourself a favor. Even if you're not a romance reader, I'm not a romance reader, as you can see from all the books that I've read. But this one just grabbed my attention and okay, I'm done gushing. You've Reached Out by Dustin Thau. I did not cry as much as I wanted to. I really wanted to cry in this book. I guess I just didn't connect to the characters as much, but I really did enjoy this. It's about grief. It's about this person losing her partner real young and how she deals with it. And I love seeing forms of grief from different characters. It's a really great book. Killing the Business from Backyard to the Big Leagues by the Young Bucks. This is my only nonfiction book that I've read. It's about the Young Bucks, professional wrestlers. If you don't know, I love professional wrestling, and the Young Bucks is one of my favorite wrestlers. So obviously I'm gonna love this. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. Get a Life, Chloe Brown. So again, I was wanting to just dive into romance, and I heard Talia Hibbert is a genius with romance, and I was not disappointed because Get a Life, Chloe Brown is so cute. So we have a main character with chronic pain. I did not know that existed, so now it's great that I'm aware. So the awareness in this book is top notch. Their relationship is adorable. It's more of a bucket list trope. So our main girl, Chloe, has a bucket list, and her love interest needs something. So she asks him to do the bucket list with him to get a life. But basically that's it. And I loved it so much. It's such a cute read. Heartstopper Volume 4. I think this is my favorite Heartstopper because it goes so deep. It discusses mental illness. It discusses eating disorders. It's so good. Heartstopper, Alice Oseman. Amazing. Poet X by Elizabeth Azevedo. Please listen to the audiobook of this one because it's so beautiful. You'll feel like you are in a slam poetry event because this book is written in verse, so it's a very quick read. Even if you read it in verse and the audiobook, I feel like they're both different experiences, but the audiobook, oh my god, it's legitimately a slam poem. So good. The Christmas Pack. I just read this because I wanted to feel Christmassy, and I regret reading it. It's actually from Audible. It's an Audible original. It's really bad. It's an office romance, enemies to lovers, but it was very tropey. I didn't like it. I mean, there was this one line at the end that kind of made me like, eee, cute, but nah. A Christmas Carol, classic. I don't have anything to say. It's still really good. What else can I say? Take a Hint, Danny Brown, second of Talia Hibbert's Brown Sisters book. I like this more than Chloe Brown. I'm sorry. Danny is such a different character. She's not a romantic, but her love interest is. Oh, and this is fake dating too. I love the fake dating trope. Their fake dating situation was very unique. Usually with fake dating, it's usually, oh, I need a date for this wedding, or my family thinks I'm so single, so I need a date. But this one is very unique, and I don't want to say because I didn't know how it came out, and it gave me so much happiness when I discovered how it goes. So, sorry, yeah. Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert, the third and final one of the Brown Sisters trilogy. I love this the most because Eve Brown is me. Plus, it is set in a B&B, and I used to work in hospitality, and I just love it. I loved it so much. It has autism representation. It's just so good. I love Talia Hibbert's books. Can you please suggest more romance that's sort of in the realm of Talia Hibbert, like sort of the same, because that's the romance that I love. And obviously Spanish love deception. So, yeah. Sunreach by Brandon Sanderson and Yancey Patterson. This is the first novella of the Skyward series, and of course I'm gonna love it because it's part of the Skyward series. As I said, it's just it's so good. I liked this novella more than the second book, which is weird because this is a novella, but we are back with the Skyward Flight, and I felt like I'm home again with them because we revisit the characters that we know and love, and it's so good. I'm so excited for Cytonic, but I have to read the second novella first and then read Cytonic. Skyward, the series just makes me so happy. So please read it. And we have the last book of 2021. It's Reaper at the Gates by Sabata here. Oh my god, we reached it. My back hurts. Okay, Reaper at the Gates. I loved it because it is an Ember in the Ashes book, but I felt like it was too long for what it was. I kind of had to pause for so long with this book just because there are parts that were super slow, and I don't get why it was slow. Like, there wasn't a slow burn that was very satisfying, but nonetheless, overall, I still love this book because it is part of an Ember in the Ashes. So I cannot wait to finish and start A Sky Beyond the Storm. I heard that it's gonna be very emotional. Yeah, okay. So that's all the books that I read during 2021. That was a lot. Oh my god. My back hurts. But whatever. Did you finish your reading goals? And if you didn't, please don't feel bad because if it doesn't matter, honestly, the number of books that you read doesn't matter. I'm just very proud of myself personally because I don't think I would ever read 100 books in a year. Next year, I probably won't. For 2022, I really want to focus more on bigger books because if you notice, I did read a lot of small books during this year, but still. So yeah, I'm very happy that I did this video. I wish you were too. So yeah, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. You're a freaking champ. Tell me what your Goodreads goal is for 2022 down in the comments, and tell me which was your favorite book of 2021. I really, really, really want to know so that I can have more books to read. So, thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.